Hey guys, you are back with the crew. Thanks for being with me. Hey, today I'm going to answer the big question, why you have to own crypto. Not whether or not it's an option in your life, why you have to own it, because, well, stick around for the show and I'll tell you exactly why I mean that. Yesterday, there was some really big news came out about Gemini and Genesis, and the SEC is coming after them. We know this because many of us on this channel are XRP holders, and we know what that entails. This means that that group or that sanction of people that I've been telling you about doesn't want the other side to succeed. Remember, it's not one power against the little people. It's numerous powers against all mankind because they like control, they have control, they like to keep their control over the monetary system. Okay, as much as it's showing leaks and cracks in that system, it's still their game, and they still want to play it, and they want to manipulate it as best as possible, and they're seeing an avenue, and they see a future problem coming up, if you will, with Genesis, more than Gemini in my opinion, but that is a group, digital currency group. Okay, if you don't know who they are, you really need to look into them, but they're actually part of a group that is even larger than that, and I've talked about this on this channel. When I tell you about groups, okay, I'm explaining groups that I have my opinion, my slight inside knowledge on who these groups are because of a history of 50 years of them being of the same team pursuing different avenues, okay? Different financial avenues together. So, in other words, you're talking about your IBM group, you're talking about your Circle group, that is all one team, okay? They manipulate things, okay? Digital Currency Group is part of that group. They are invested. I think they're going to fall on the sword to some degree. The SEC is going to tie the whole thing up, and it's going to be a mess. Okay, this is why I think this is the most important video that you're probably going to watch all year. You know, I don't know how those hype guys do that. I can't even, like, do that with a straight face. I'm just some girl. Anyway, this is where they're headed. They're showing their cards. Again, I've done videos on this. Wall Street is all in on crypto. If you don't know that by now, stop listening to your Uncle Louie, because he doesn't know what he's talking about. They're all in on crypto. Brokers are up to here in it. They've all purchased it for their friends and families. I know this for a fact. I know brokers that have told me that's factual. Put it that way. Okay? So let's go over why that is. What have they got left? Okay? Let's talk about what they do well. They're bubble blowers. Okay? So they blew bubbles back in .com. They profited, crushed it. They blew bubbles in real estate market. They've blown bubbles in every industry. They've blown bubbles in oil. And that's an ongoing bubble that keeps going up and down and up and down, and they control the entire things with rehypothecation, with futures markets, as we talk about on this channel all the time. They create these bubbles and they pop them, and then they start over again. All of this is their game. Again, why? Because they don't produce anything. They produce bubbles. That's what they're good at. Okay? So this real estate bubble has peaked. They've popped it again, right? Just like '07. If you stop and think about it, why? Well, because it gets to the point to where the little man has to work 3 jobs and there's only 2 of them. So they can't do it any longer. They can't spin the wheel, the cage, any longer. They've tapped this little mouse out. He's done. So what do they have to do? They have to get out, pull the rug out from underneath everybody, pop the bubble, let it go back down again, raise interest rates. Oh yeah, we're doing it for mankind, and play their Ponzi all over again. Well, they've done this twice with real estate now. The largest bubble in the history of real estate is today. Way bigger than '07. Okay? So, what products do they have left to do that with? Well, let's see. They've already popped the whole Tesla bubble recently. That thing was 100 and what, I don't even remember what it was, but it's half of what it was or less. Okay? So, they've had the stock bubble forever. How many times has that thing been inflated and crashed? Inflated and crashed. Okay. But to do this, they have to really control all the deeds. This is where BlackRock and many of these other companies come into the picture, is because it's really kind of a nefarious thing that not a lot of people know about. But if you look into the Oklahoma bombing, that was kind of crazy, because the documents that blew up there were all the deeds to virtually every piece of property. And anyway, I don't want to get into that because that's a whole nother ball of wax, but that's kind of crazy the way that whole thing happened. And again, like I was talking about with the hurricane, Sandy wiped out all the documentation of who owns what stock shares. Coincident, a little hurricane came through New York, flooded it. Within a week, there was actually a fire, and everything that was soaking wet now burned. You know, you look into that for yourself and come up with what you will. But anyway, that's a company called Seed and Company, who own all the shares. Okay, they're in control of it. They've digitized them, so now you don't know how many shares you own of Tesla. You don't know how many outstanding shares there are. I know they'll tell you a number, but you know what? They've rehypothecated and reproduced and sold so many of those shares to so many different people. And it's just another one of their bubbles. And I'm not saying that Tesla is going to crash or anything like that. That's not my point of this video. My point of this video is they've shown me their hands again. What is that? Get around to it, Al, would you? Well, let's think about it. They're coming after the two. Okay, two of the more, whether or not you like them or not, you know, the twins. Okay, they tried to create an exchange on the up and up as best they could. Isn't it interesting that they came after those two guys with the whole Microsoft thing too, right? Remember that? Yeah, and before the Microsoft incident, they had the incident with Facebook. Wow, these guys just seem to have a target on their back. Ah, that's weird. That's a weird one. Anyway, back to the story. How do I know that this is their next bubble? Well, they've shown us all the cards. Let's look at this. They need a new asset. They need a new product, right? What's their product to blow into the next bubble? That's right, crypto. Is it going to be all 20,000 of them? Of course not. It's certainly going to be the top, I don't know, there's a lot of stocks. S&P 500, maybe the top 500 cryptos make it. The reason why I'm doing this video is I confused some people on a video or three back, and I had mentioned, please own the real token. I didn't mean to confuse people by that statement. What I meant was this. You purchase on any exchange, well, almost every exchange, and you own a token, right? Get it off that exchange, whatever exchange you bought it from, okay? And get it into your own possession. Whether that be an internet wallet, whether that be a cold storage wallet, I believe in both of those to some degree. Cold storage is your best bet, obviously. That's a real token. If you can pull it off an exchange and you own it, you own that token. You are one of those billion tokens that are out there. Sorry, coins in some cases, most cases. When they run on their own blockchain, they're a coin. Right. So when you have that coin in your possession, you own a portion, okay, of that product in which they're going to do what? What do they always do? They control, manipulate, and inflate, and rehypothecate, and create derivatives. Stay with me on this. This is exactly where they're going. And it's not even hard to see, but for some reason when I explain it to people, they look at me as if I'm speaking, I don't know, Greek or Portuguese. I don't know. But it's funny to me that I've been saying this for, I've been in crypto, I don't know, 6 years now, something like that at least. You have to own these coins. You must own them. Because what they're going to do is they're going to take this coin and they're going to try and buy as many of them as humanly possible. We'll stop and think about how difficult that would be for them to do. Not very, right? Okay, it's at today's market, I think we're at 900 billion. Okay, that's less than $1 trillion. So let's say if everybody tripled their money tomorrow, okay, everybody who owned a coin, if everybody owned a coin tomorrow, tripled their money, how many of those coins would be sold? If it went up that fast, how many coins would be sold? 90%? 90% of all coins. I mean, I know there's a lot of us that wouldn't sell, but the point of the matter is the little guy's probably going to sell if he triples his money within a week. A lot of them. Okay, so that first boom that's going to hit, when it hits, is going to get a lot of the people out. How much money did that cost Wall Street? Less than $3 trillion to triple it, right? To get everybody out. Think about that. So now let's talk about rehypothecation and how they evaluate stocks and how they reproduce them and what they do when they do it. Well, they take a real product, which is, we're going to call it in this case, a Bitcoin or an XRP, whichever one. Okay, let's go with XRP. Okay, you have this coin. And then they ask you, okay, well, you know, I'll give you this much for it, or that much for it, or that much for it. And then when you finally give it to them, they control it, they own it. They own the real asset. Okay? And then what do they do from then on? They sell a derivative of. These will be sold everywhere. These will be sold in the confidence of JP Morgan or Goldman Sachs or your bank or anybody else is going to be able to sell you this coin. Are they going to give you the real coin? No. No, they are not going to give you the real coin. I know many of you already know this, but for the rest of us, this is really important information right now. You will not own the real coin. They will. They will have rehypothecated, lied, created, manipulated one more time again. How do I know this? Who's the largest owner or supply? Who owns more silver than anyone else in the world? I'll give you a second on that one. Time's up. JP Morgan. JP Morgan owns more of the real thing in storage than anyone else in the world. Yet they sell shares, futures, options, anything you want to buy with a piece of paper that says anything other than the fact that you get the piece of silver. They'll sell you all of that. They'll sell you anything you want to buy. Oh yeah, I went to my broker, I went to my bank, I bought it through the bank, it's guaranteed, it's good stuff, it's great, it's perfect, it's never gonna... What? No, you're never gonna own it. You can own the paper of it. All gold bugs, all silver people already know this. Almost all of us know this in crypto. The bottom line is, these people are showing their hands, and they're showing their cards to the point where it's so obvious now that Wall Street wants to control this product. I'm not even going to say they want to. They can do it at the drop of a hat. Okay. 6 trillion. You see where I'm going with this? 9 trillion. That's nothing to them. Do you understand that they can create over the next 10 to 50 years a market that they can reproduce it thousands of times over its actual true asset value? That's called creating money out of thin air in a Western banking Wall Street manner in which these people have been doing with bot trading and all of the rest, and loaning and borrowing against debt on top of debt with the debt. And all they need you to do is to enjoy a shiny little object in which you think has wealth or scarcity. And then they take that wealth or that piece of that true asset and they make paper out of it and they sell it to you through a broker with a fancy suit in a bank institution that you have trust and faith in. And they will do it to everyone, but not you, because you watched the most important video of the year. So, why are you in crypto? Because you understand that the token doesn't lie. The coin doesn't lie. The blockchain doesn't lie. And those people, one day, maybe not in the beginning, because they're going to really play this Ponzi for a long time with us. Maybe not in the beginning, but one day you'll own the real asset, like the real piece of land and like the real piece of gold and the real piece of XRP, and you will have generational wealth, which is what I've been teaching since the day I understood the white paper that Satoshi or whoever wrote, okay? That's what I know about crypto. And you and I have it figured out. And unfortunately, I can't give this to people in pill form to my best friends and family who, for some reason, well, they'd rather go buy the fake one at the bank because it has a shiny little guarantee that says, yes, this is JP Morgan believes in this little token that they're going to sell you, which is not going to be the real deal, as we know. All right, guys, try and make this one a little shorter. They're showing their cards. It's so obvious. And I hope you guys are really enjoying the content that Brent and I are putting out there. We're really enjoying the comments. I have to say this. The people on this channel are blowing my mind. Your stories are touching and just... I'm not going to talk about her story right now because it's too moving for me and I don't have her name, but there was a post in the last video that just blew my mind. I'd love to interview her. I want to talk about her because this channel is really about people and it's about our future together, okay? All right, guys, with that, I am out. This guy thinks he made the most important video of the year. What a loser.